Hi, this is Todd Nessa from Godly America. We've been watching a cold case posse, which is Sheriff Opaio's investigative team. He's addressing their donors in a special briefing, and he was just talking about how they had got, um, oh, what was it, 680 something, 600 something rolls of microfilm from the government showing immigration information on the very date purported to be the president's birth date, that date was missing from the records. And they said they didn't find it on any of the other rolls of film. So that's really, really significant. You know, matter of fact, I'll replay just that little snippet there again.
Mr. Corsi was down there for about 3 hours and I got a telephone call. I go, did you find it? He goes, no. I go, okay, so what's up? He says, well, I'm going through rolls of film and when I get to the roll marked August 1st, 1961 to August 10th, 1961, it's missing. I go, what do you mean it's missing, Jerry? He's, Mike, it's just not here, it's blank. And it resumes right on the 10th on the next reel. And they look through they don't look through all 685 of these, but they look through a majority of these and they didn't find that occurrence anywhere. We notified the sheriff.
Little coincidental, don't you think?
We kept going at them. We asked them for a letter telling us what happened here. We had to push for that letter for a while. They finally sent us a letter, and it's ambiguous. It says, we don't know, maybe this, but we don't know. They went on a hunt to find it. They couldn't find it. We then asked them for the 2 certified copy rolls. We had them certify those rolls for us. We now have those rolls in evidence. And the sheriff then decided, well, we need to do something about this. So we are going to look deeper into that issue and probably request some further explanation from them. But the sheriff...
All right, now I could continue. I would recommend that you watch this whole thing on Cold Case Posse. If you go to GodlyAmerica.org and click on the Godly America report, if you go to the category Eye on Obama, you'll see it there. Cold Case Posse, go watch it. All right, what we're going to do next, moving right along, and boy, it's hard to move because I just enjoy this so much. I could watch it over and over again. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave the window up and watch it here later when I get done. This right here is very significant. This was on the nightly news for Infowars.com, and you see Alex Jones here and one of his helpers, and they're looking at the birth certificate issue, and we're going to watch this. Like I said, these series of videos are just, I had them marked for several days. I'm trying to pull a myriad of information into one video. I started off showing a press release that was from Barack Obama's own literary agents who identified him in the press releases that they put out as being born in Kenya up until April of 2007, which began the presidential run for who is now our president, Obama. And we looked at the Indonesian connection and the fact that you can't be a dual citizen of Indonesia. The fact, that he was a bona fide citizen of that country, and there was on his school documents he was a Muslim. His name was Barry Soetoro in those documents. Also later, and it's not in this video, but later in his life, in his high school, when he did live in Hawaii, he was known as Barry Soetoro in his high school yearbooks and things. And it was until later that we had this Barack Hussein Obama thing come into the picture. Now that's the $1,000,000 question. Where did that come from, right? At this point, I can't tell you that I know that information. Although it is alleged that he has a CIA connection. He was recruited to work for the CIA when he was in his first college, which was, I think, Occidental, I believe. He wasn't a real bright scholar, that he worked for them in Afghanistan, and then all of a sudden here he ends up in Harvard and in Harvard Law School, and well, now he's our president. But let's go look at some proof here of the forgery. The fact that this was most likely a photoshopped birth certificate that was put out just over a year ago.
We provided additional information today about the site of my birth. Now, this issue has been going on for 2.5 years now. I think it started during the campaign. And
my friends,
when you're good
it
at
is the 27th
spinning lies,
of April,
it's easy to tell them after a
2011.
while.
And as the headline reads, the newest Obama birth certificate that's been released by the White House has
If you
been
were CIA,
altered
you
in
would
literally
obviously learn
dozens
how to
of
lie real
ways,
well.
and it's been altered in ways that are so obvious that it makes the head spin. This had to have been done on purpose to accelerate this debate. The White House obviously wants to make everything about the birth certificate and was he really from Hawaii or Kenya, instead of his record of more wars, torture, bailing out banks, signing statements, and lobbyists. There's no way they are this stupid. If they are this hubris-filled and arrogant and crazy and have put out the document that we're about to show you, then we're in even more trouble. In a way, I hope that this is some type of sick ploy. Because if they are crazy enough to put this out, knowing that there are millions of people that are Photoshop experts, including people who have degrees in it, like my sister who has a degree in photography, and 2 people we have on staff that are Photoshop experts. They've all looked at it. It is mind-blowing. That's only the tip of the iceberg. That's what got the Photoshop community's attention online. There are thousands of sites right now going crazy. Mainline ones saying this is obviously fake. On purpose. This is a horrible fake forgery on purpose. Understand, someone who has no understanding of how to research forgeries would see this immediately. Right now we're reeling from this, but Rob Dew is the only one of 3 Photoshop people we've got on staff that wants to be on camera. Rob, let's go ahead and get to this document.
Right. Okay, first thing what we're going to do, here's the article on InfoWars. Obama birth certificate raises as many questions as it answers by Paul Joseph Watson. He's got the birth certificate. You scroll down to the bottom of the article. The whitehouse.gov, Obama's long-form birth certificate, whitehouse.gov. So we're going to click on that. Here's what everybody's been looking at today. Here's the document. We're going to save this.
As we learned in Cold Case Posse, certificate of live birth is not a birth certificate, that they allowed certificates of live birth for foreign-born citizens, and he talked about a lot of the Japanese, who, because just the Japanese began migrating towards Hawaii. As a matter of fact, when I was in Hawaii, which has been a while, they owned a lot of the sugarcane fields there. Good example would be of Japanese Hawaiian would be Robert Kiyosaki. But at any rate, so there's a difference between a birth certificate and a certificate of live birth. I'm just going to bring that out first. They're saying here, and that was just a red flag that stuck out of me, that this is a birth certificate, and there are 2 different things. The state of Hawaii allows, or had allowed, it still does, I believe, certificates of live birth. That is not a birth certificate. That is to register foreign citizens in Hawaii. Let's continue.
Obama birth, right here. Nothing in here, and here it says birth certificate long form. So we're going to save it.
And by the way, I was hoping that this was real today, and we didn't even start looking at it. I'm sick of this issue. People ask me to cover it and look at it. We know they've been covering up his records. They've spent millions of dollars blocking lawsuits about this. Why didn't they just release it? If we go back 2.5 years ago, they released
They can't release what they don't have.
The live birth.
They have to produce it.
Not the birth certificate, and told everybody this was it, and it was a birth certificate, and no long form existed. and you were a conspiracy theorist if you said something else existed. Now they've released this, so remember that line. And then Rob and others in the office, all the Photoshop people, all the video editors, including folks with degrees from universities in this, came to me and they said, my God, this is totally fake. Then they went and checked the big Photoshop sites, as I said, and they're all saying this is fake. But it's so fake that it boggles the mind. I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, Rob,
It's crazy.
it would take 10 hours to go over everything. I mean, the letters don't match. The layers and the signatures go over the green background. Again, it's like they wanted to be caught. This is 100% altered in so many ways it'll make your head spin. I'm sorry, go over.
All right. Now, if you have a copy of Adobe Illustrator, you open that up. So now we're in Illustrator. You can see up at the top here. We're going to open this really quickly. Here we are in Illustrator, and you can see already that there's little layers, but you can't, it moves everything at one layer, okay? So there, I'm going to go back, put it back here. Now watch this. I'm going to click onto it, right-click to release clipping mask. This is what everybody's been doing. So now everything has been all the layers have been broken apart. So we'll just grab this layer real quick, and we're going to cut.
And this is like in a Photoshop file. You can see what was moved before and what they altered.
Let me just interject here. And why isn't this information everywhere? Why isn't every American citizen up in arms about this? You have to desire the truth. You have to want the truth. The truth has to be the most important thing. The pursuit of truth has to reign above all else. The Bible says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So you have to, everything starts with a desire and hunger for truth. Absent of that, then you'll believe anything. Because you'll believe whatever anybody wants you to believe. Why? Because you don't want to believe anything else. It's not that you can't. You don't want to. You have to desire the truth. Okay, we'll go on, and I got just a little bit more before we'll go into the next segment here.
You can see that these things were cut in here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So here we are. I'm going to cut this layer. Boom. And now we're going to add it to a different layer on top of that other layer. And now you can see this is a completely different layer, and there's even a missing number on this when you bring this back in. Let me bring that back up.
So
you can
there's
see
a ghost. There's a ghost.
Yeah, so this one was here originally, but then they added these numbers, it looks like. Watch the signature here. Part of the signature's there and part of it's not. They add something down here to ukulele, which is who's supposed to be the local registrar. They add the numbers 1 here and over here. There's a 3 and a 1 added. You can just see by turning it on and off. You know, there's different letters all over this that have been added into it. So there's.
Well, I'm
something
a
that
layman,
sticks.
but for years watching people in the office working Photoshop, myself learning how to use it, they didn't flatten it.
Exactly.
They left it in the layers, but what's crazier is you can say, well, that was just a mistake or some computer glitch. The numbers they've added don't even match or look the same when you blow them up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is insane. They're modern computer numbers, not some 1960s typewriter.
Yeah, you could easily see that.
I'm going to be honest, folks. This is beyond me. Because I've had 3 different Photoshop experts in my office look at this. I go to big mainline, non-political Photoshop sites. They're freaking out over this. And this is not just the fact that it's in layers and been altered. It's all fake, and the numbers don't even match, and all this stuff's been added. Our government is insane. I mean, what is this? What is the point?
It looks like a joke to me. This is definitely a joke. I mean, I can't
A joke
believe...
on us. So,
Yeah.
so the elite have gone completely insane. It's like Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake if they're starving to death before the French Revolution.
Right.
Or
Really? Are they insane, or are they just arrogant? Do they realize something that we don't know? And that's that the majority of the populace, which they feel like they control, will believe it. They won't do any due diligence to look into it. They don't care. That's what I believe. They're arrogant, and they're proving that they can be arrogant. We'll go to the next video. Join me in the next segment.